Just as seeds tossed to the wind will find varying degrees of fertile soil, so too will humans find varying degrees of hospitable environments over the course of their lives. Some humans are born into wealth, others are born into poverty. Some kids get to be homeschooled, other kids get sent to the prison camp known as the public schools. Some people do well in rural areas, other people thrive downtown. Problem is, not every seed is the same, nor is every human the same. Different humans will thrive in different environments, while others will suffer and struggle. And while there are objectively bad environments to live in, for example, the ghetto, a single-mom home, or San Francisco, what is a good environment versus a bad environment is highly dependent on that environment and the person in it. Over the course of your life, you are going to live in both good and bad environments. But in order to live the best life possible, it is absolutely critical to know when you are in a bad one and leave it as soon as possible. Otherwise, just like a seed, you simply cannot grow. Your life will be stunted. How you determine this, however, is not so black and white. For example, just because times are tough doesn't mean the environment you're in is bad. If you make stupid decisions like majoring in English, it's not the fault of your resident state of Florida you're poor. You majored in English. That's why you're poor. It's trying to identify external social, cultural, and environmental factors that will prevent you from succeeding no matter how hard you try. The epitomal example of this is Denver. Denver at one time was a great major metro with great weather and a ton of outdoor activities. However, once Colorado legalized pot, the city became completely dysfunctional. The flood of new pothead citizens drove up housing costs, making it unaffordable to live there. The population increase also made traffic along the I-25 corridor and the city in general simply not acceptable. The people themselves are now low-quality, lazy potheads, commensurate with all the problems such people bring. Crime, litter, drug use, public defecation, homelessness, etc. And now that the population is mostly losers, you can expect the laws to reflect that, whether it's the right for people to panhandle, plastic straw bans, or housing Venezuelan gangs. This is simply not an environment for a hardworking, industrious person. This is not a place someone who wishes to build a life for himself can succeed in. If you're a pothead, a criminal, or just someone who doesn't want to work, Denver's a great place for you to live, even thrive. But if you have any aspirations beyond getting high, dude, you'll have to go elsewhere. The hard part, especially when you're younger, is to know when you are in a bad environment, often because it's all you've ever known. And the only way to describe it is that after a certain amount of time, you get the feeling you and the environment you're in are just not a good fit. You do your best, you work really hard, you conduct yourself ethically, but you still just can't break through to success. You just can't seem to get a break. Or it seems like you are just having an unbelievable amount of bad luck. If that's the case, you don't need to understand why. You just need to realize you're in a bad environment and need to leave. Contrast that with an environment that is good for you. Not that it will be all puppies and flowers, but it will seem like you're playing a game on easy mode. You just get along with people better. You're not as pissed off. You can find employment relatively easily, and there just aren't as many invisible barriers you were running into before. You aren't constantly fighting the environment you're in. Like wind in your sails, it's actually helping you. And just as you don't need to understand why your previous environment was bad for you, you don't need to understand why this one is good. It just is. Do not stop until you find a good environment that you can thrive in. Spend the money to afford yourself an environment that is good for you. And if you're lucky enough to find such a place, realize it, take advantage of it, and consider planting permanent roots there.